Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here with another segment of Joe DeChara interviews somebody. But believe it or not, the one person I know, if I ever had a technical problem, if I had it with anything, with a computer, with the internet, I would go to this guy. And this guy is the guy I'm supposed to be interviewing right now, John Limbocker, and he was on, and all of a sudden, like, his screen just disappeared. I could hear him, but it was blank, which was fine with me because I just want to get his knowledge. I didn't need to see him. So John, if you're listening, you could call in and we can do the interview that way. But in any event, I believe that John will overcome the technical problem on his end and show up here. And we are going to be talking, whether he shows up or not, about a program that he put together specifically for people like me, an accountant, an entrepreneur that has no idea about marketing. I'm confused. It's a mystery, and if that's you, then you want to stay tuned for John, or at least go through what this program is and what it's done for me and what it might be able to do for you. Because let's face it, and I say this every week, life is tough, and then we go and start a business, and we make it even tougher. So we're taking a tough situation that's also very complicated. You know, I don't care if you're opening up an ice cream store, and I see John maybe coming back here. But if you're opening up, I can go into my whole ice cream truck story about how that I thought it was easy, it was over, and then I got a letter from the government, and it's not easy. It's complicated. And now you throw this whole internet world into the mix, and we have unlimited opportunities. Let me see if John is there. John, are you there, big guy?
I am here. I'm not sure if you can see me.
No, we can't see you. And you're a great looking guy. I would rather see you, but I was just telling everybody that it's fine if we can just pick your brain, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah. My computer was doing some weird stuff here, and I finally had to just reboot it. And my camera, it's weird. The camera shows that it's on, but I'm not showing up there. So
I started out, I had to start the broadcast because for some reason, if you schedule it, QuickBooks, if you're not on time, they kick you off.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I start. Yeah. So I started it saying that if I had this problem, that I would call this guy, and his name is John Limbocker. So I was like, if you can't fix this, we're just going to have to go on with the show.
Yeah, we're in trouble if I can't figure it out.
So, and if you don't mind, is it okay if I pull up the, what do you call it? The content.
Sure.
Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. You can still talk, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm still getting used to StreamYard, so I didn't know if I cut you off there. So I was explaining, John, that you actually put this program together. I was talking to my coaching client and explaining how you did this in the way that you didn't just create it and then try to sell it. You found us, right? Meaning, I think Craig's group, and there was let's just say a gap into what we were trying to do and how we were doing it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is absolutely 100% right on. I didn't have any intention of ever creating this, but when I went to Craig's group specifically, he asked me to come and join his mastermind group, which had, you're in there. There's a whole bunch of really good people in there. And he said, you do SEO, all my people need SEO, and you're the perfect solution for them. So I'm like, okay, great. I thought that was an awesome match. So I joined the group. He put me on stage. I talked about SEO, and everybody loved it. Everybody like ran to me in the back of the room, and they all wanted to hire me to do SEO for them. And the honest truth is nobody qualified. I don't take somebody on as a commercial client unless I know I can help them, right?
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think I was one of those people too.
Yeah. You were one of them. You said, hey, what can you do for me? And I asked, I have a couple of qualifying questions to see if I can even help. And it was interesting. Nobody could really answer the questions. And they all gave me the same answer, and it was the wrong answer.
You mean do you actually have a website?
No. Like my first question is, who is your ideal customer?
Okay.
And
basic. I got you.
And you know what the answer is, right? Everybody.
Everybody. Everyone with skin.
Yeah, they have to have skin, and I'm good. And I'm like, oh no, I don't think I can help you. Okay, I'm not sure anybody can help you if that's what you're thinking. But so it was very frustrating. I wanted to help the group, but I couldn't help them with what I had because they weren't ready for it. They didn't understand there was a big gap in where they were and where I could actually help them. So I had a decision to make. And, the decision was either I leave the group and go back and help the people I know I can help, or I can figure out how do I make use of the time here and help this group. And what I came up with was what they were missing was some basic foundational principles in business. And that's what led me to create the ACT program. Okay. I kind of took a look back, and I really didn't know where to start. I knew the problem. I saw the gap, and I'm like, okay, what's the difference between me and the rest of this group of people? Because I'm making money and they're not. What's the difference? And I start going back and I started recognizing I follow a set of rules, a set of guidelines. And then I looked back a little further to see where did that come from? Where did I get that? How is it that I can do this? What gave me these superpowers?
So in other words, just so I can understand this, it's you're looking at your results compared to somebody else's results.
Yeah.
And they're not, and this is what I say, if your results aren't what you want, then you got to look, how did you get there? There's a sequence to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when I went back and I looked at what I do in my business, I follow very closely to what I saw the ad agencies doing when I was working with them. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I didn't know it, but I think I learned a lot from these people. I didn't know it at the time. I was like getting a lifelong education and not even recognizing it.
What do you call that? The unconscious competence?
Yeah, unconscious competency.
Yeah, so you know it, and then you don't even realize how much you know, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like when you take a newborn baby and they don't know how to walk. And they start rolling, they roll around and they learn, oh, okay, if I use this muscle, I get on my belly. And then if I learn this muscle, I can get up on my knees. And they're layering it on like one piece at a time. And before you know it, they're teenagers and they're running around and they're doing gymnastics and all kind of weird shit that, we couldn't even do. And if you ask that person, hey, how do you walk? They couldn't tell you. They could not tell you how they walk because They don't know. They just know it happens. It's unconscious competency.
Okay. That's a great.
There's like 64 muscles firing for you to take a single step. Did you know that?
No.
64 muscles for you to take a single step. And when you think about it, your brain can't function 64x at a time. It doesn't, that your conscious mind does not function at that high level.
Okay, I got it.
Your conscious mind can only focus on about 5 to maybe 6 or 7 things. And then all of a sudden you become overloaded.
So we're on autopilot.
Exactly. Your unconscious mind is infinitely powerful. It's like a supercomputer. It doesn't even know what it doesn't know. It's just doing its thing. And you can layer these things on. And I actually learned that in when I took Matt Browning's course. That's where I learned about how many things you can focus on consciously and how many things you can layer on to be done on autopilot. And it was amazing. It's amazing how powerful we are. And here's the thing. With the success, there's a million little things that add up to success. And you could not do them all consciously. It's when you layer them on and you're unconsciously doing it, that's when you get somebody that has the Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to gold. And you don't know why, they don't know why, and you can't reproduce it. It's unconscious competency.
Okay, I got it.
So what I did with the ACT program was I actually took 12 people and I let these 12 people chisel at me for a year and unravel what my unconscious competency was. And we dug it all out and put it into this ACT program.
Wow. I don't think I ever heard that whole story that way. I mean, I knew bits and pieces of it, but it's interesting. So, because I told my client this morning, Dr. Flo, I said, John Limbocker doesn't just create something. He's like, because this is what we're doing now. We're trying to put her program together. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, I'm using what I learned with John with ACT. So it's really, and I like to get into, the formulas now because, and that's what we're doing. We're doing the research now. And, it's like, and I love doing this. I love doing it for myself, but now I'm getting to do it with somebody else. And so where do we start, John?
Well, let's start with the most important piece.
Okay.
And this is the piece that is a real eye-opener for most people. And this is the part that I have seen change more trajectories than anything. And it's the whole part about a conversation. It's a simple conversation with somebody that gets them to come to their own awareness of what they're doing and what they're doing wrong. You can't tell someone they're doing something wrong. That doesn't go well. But you can have a conversation with them and allow them to discover it. And that does work really well. So the conversation kind of goes something like this. And it's really getting them to think about their business and what they're doing and all the people that they're working with. And you bring it to math. You turn it into math. I turn everything into math. And I say, if you think of all of your customers, like let's say you've got 10 customers and you might have 100, but let's just for easy math, let's say you got 10. If you have 100, it's just 10 to 1. No big deal. But let's say you have 10 people and out of the 10, 8 of those people drive you absolutely nuts. When you see the phone ring, you cringe. You go, oh my God, I don't even want to pick that up. And you look at the end of the month and you look at your income coming in, and only about 20% of your income's coming from those 8 people. And then you look at it the other way and you see the 2 people that you absolutely love working with, and 80% of your income is coming from them. And as soon as I paint that picture out and they start thinking about it, they're like, wow, he's right. And then now all of a sudden their life isn't so rosy. And then I say, what would happen if I 10-folded your business? You'd have 10 times of those 8 people. You'd have 80 of those pains in your ass and you'd be done.
And I have to stop you there because this is like, I'm a case study for this. if you told me if I could 10-foot, all I'm thinking about are the two that I'm making money on. I'm not thinking about now I got 80 of those pains in the necks.
Yeah.
So
So
when
the first
when I did your freedom formula, I got to say this and I looked at my clients and I did your whole ideal client thing, and I was shocked. I was shocked that I was making the most money from my smallest clients.
Yeah.
And they didn't bother me, and they listened to me. And that was in 2016, John.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had to say this is because today, that is all I'm focusing on. And, I look at my clients and I'm like, oh my God, these are my ideal clients. It worked.
Yeah. You have to get your business model right before you scale it, because otherwise you're going to scale a nightmare.
So there's two scenarios here. You got the people like me. I had a client history, a long client history. I could easily identify those 8 people.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm working with people that are just starting out. So how do we? Because it was a very simple exercise, and it revealed it changed my whole business model. What do you do with somebody that's just starting out that doesn't have a history?
So somebody that's never done that before, it's a similar conversation. When somebody hasn't done something before, you can't call on their memory. So what you have to do is you have to project a future for them so they can see it. That's the same thing. We're painting a picture. It's just in the future, not in the past.
Interesting.
So in that case, I would say imagine. I would use the trigger word of imagine so I can access their imagination. I say, imagine if we opened your doors right now and you brought on 10 new clients and 8 of them chewed up all your time. And you realized, you sat back at the end of the month and you said, my God, I'm only making like $10 an hour working with these people. These other 2, I'm making several $100s an hour working with them. And my life is great when I'm talking to them. So I'll paint the same exact picture so they can see what they want.
Okay. So the start is everybody should, is this what you're saying? Everybody really needs to start at who is your ideal client?
And here's another thing. If you've got somebody that is not in business and they've never done a business, this is a problem I see a lot. Is a lot of times they will want to start a business around a market that does not exist. They don't have the experience to identify a hole and fill it. They're trying to fill an empty hole that doesn't exist.
Okay,
and I see that time after time after time, and I'm like, whoa, let's pump the brakes here, and let's look at the reality. Because when you start a business, this is back to numbers. You're going to spend time and you're going to spend money to put this business together. So it's like you're building an airplane, and you're going to put a lot of time and a lot of money into it before the first flight. And you expect this thing to fly, right? Not into the ground.
Hopefully.
Well, if there's no air under the wings, you're not going to get any lift, and it's not going to get off the ground. So if you build a plane and you don't have any air under the wings, it's not going to fly. If you build a business and you don't have any market to fuel it with, it's not going to fly either. So you have to identify a market of people that want to and are willing to and capable of buying what you're offering.
So now we get to, don't you call this market segmentation?
Market segmentation is a different thing.
Okay.
What this is identifying a profitable market, which is part of market segmentation. It's basically market segmentation is a different piece. That's where you look at the market to figure out what's the most profitable segment of any market.
Okay.
And there's a formula to it. So I guess it does fall into market segmentation. But the formula for it is you need three things to kind of qualify if this is a profitable market.
Okay.
One of them is you have to have the size of the market. There has to be enough people in this segment to sustain your goals of sales, right? It has to be big enough.
Okay.
The second one is they have to want what you have. They have to be willing to purchase. And the third thing is they have to be able to purchase. They have to have the money. They can want it and not have the money. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. You have to have all three in play for this thing to work. I'll give you a perfect example of 2 out of 3 that will fail. Let's say you're selling lobster, right? Pretty
Okay.
good commodity. A lot of people like lobster. The market's big enough, certainly. Now we focus on the LA market, specifically down on Skid Row. The market's still big enough, right? Those people like lobster. They want the lobster. It's a big enough market, but they don't have the ability to pay. So you're missing one, you fall down. Any one of the three is not there, you lose. You got to have all three pieces of that puzzle.
Okay. So let me ask you something, because we could go on and on forever about this. You know, it's fascinating. But what I believe you did here, John, and this is what I try to do with my clients, is you took something that's complicated and you broke it down into little chunks that are digestible. Like even the way that you structured your the whole online thing, they're like a couple of minutes for each video. And could I go through some of this workbook so people could see exactly what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah, that's no problem.
Is there anywhere? Let me just. So all of the stuff that you're talking about, like finding your market, and where do we want to go here? Okay, yeah, the freedom formula. So this was interesting. And I take my clients through this sort of exercise too. I want to know what they're spending their money on.
Yeah, you know what that exercise is really good for? That exercise is really good for somebody that is in a day job and they don't see the possibility of them actually ever being free. They don't get that it's just math. Because the whole point of that exercise, the freedom formula, is for you to dream about your ideal life, and you add up the cost of it, the monthly cost for you to live the life of your dreams. And it usually comes out to a monster number. Like if they're making, let's say they're making $10,000 a month at their day job.
Right.
And that would be a good day job, right?
Yeah.
10 grand a month. That's a pretty good job. Let's say they add up their dream life, and their dream life comes up to 100,000 a month. 1.2 million a year to live their dream ideal lifestyle. And they look at, they're only making, a 10% of that, and they don't think it's possible. So when they look at it in this way, we take that, that 100,000 a month, and then we take their product, maybe it's $1,000 product, and they only have to move 100 of them a month to live that lifestyle. So it just becomes a math equation. And
right.
Then marketing is, okay, how do we move that 100 units a month? So it's now the thing that keeps anyone from doing anything is they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. So there, with that formula, we just told them what they need to do, And next in the ACT program, we're going to show them how to do it. So we're going to give them the confidence they need to actually leave the day job and go out and be successful.
And this is where I looked at my business model and I said, I'm going to own a job the rest of my life. Seriously, that's why I said I either got to pivot, I got to change my business model, or I'll be like this. And that's, you were right, it was just math.
Yeah.
And now, what do you say? So yeah, then I said, okay, how many? And now, John, I got this formula down. I know it. I know how many clients I need to get that 1.2 million a year. So that really, that was in 2016. But what do you say? People have to know that it's possible, that they can do it, and that you can help, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
that's pretty much it. And that actually goes back to how you build a marketing campaign. You have to discover what somebody wants, like their desired outcome. Like the guy in the day job, we know what he wants. He wants that dream lifestyle. So that's the end of the rainbow. That's his desired outcome. When we show him that we have a unique delivery mechanism that can get that for him, now all of a sudden you've grabbed his attention. You've got all of his attention focused on you, and you're starting to create demand and desire. That's
okay. So now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's what marketing is all about. It's grabbing attention, creating demand and desire. And once you've done that, when you've created demand and desire for what you have, what you offer, and they can afford it, the only thing that stands in the way of a sale at that point is an objection. That's it. If you can figure out how to eliminate the objections and make your offer, then you're going to make very high conversion of sales in your business, and you'll be very successul.
So you got this down to a science. I mean, it's, and it's just like bookkeeping. It's just like, listen, it's math. And so what you've done, so explain like what a unique mechanism is, because I had no idea what that was.
Okay. A unique mechanism. You've probably heard the whole unique selling proposition thing. And I've heard that for years, and I hated that terminology. It never resonated with me. But what I have found that really matters, nobody cares about your unique selling proposition. All they care about is that they get what they want. So when you show them that you have a unique delivery mechanism, the unique delivery mechanism, it's the thing that's going to do the work to get them what they want. When they see that you have that, now it goes from a pie in the sky to, oh, this could actually happen. This is the guy I need. This is the thing I want. That's creating demand and desire. When you don't have a unique delivery mechanism, it's just all they're hearing is blah, 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 blah. When they can see how you're going to deliver the results, now all of a sudden they're leaning forward, and it's like they're asking buying questions. How long does it take? How much does it cost? How do I get it? And then somewhere in there, an objection will come through, and you have to figure out how to deal with those. So there, what you've got up on the screen there is the timeline. You figure out where the person is, like let's say this person's in a day job, and their desired outcome is the dream lifestyle. So you show them, there's milestones in the middle here, there's hurdles for you to get there. I have a unique delivery mechanism that's going to take you right over the top of those milestones and hurdles and deliver you onto the island that you want to live on. Okay, so my unique,
I'm looking at a picture of an island right now. My unique mechanism would be what? Like my coaching program, my mastermind, what is it?
Well, let's think about it more simplistic than that, and then you tell me what it is. So in the current situation, they're standing on the shore, and they're looking over toward an island on the other side, and they know they don't have the gumption to swim that channel. They want to be on the island. You come up and you say, hey, I have a helicopter. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I see how I'm going to get to that island now. And you're the key. You are the key to getting them what they want.
I don't know if I would do a helicopter. I might show up with a boat.
Well, anything, as long as they can clearly see the vision that you are the one to get them what they want, they're going to desire you.
And I was talking to Dr. Flo about the timeline today, and all of this stuff is important. But I think, what I'd like people to know is that you have all of these tools, these worksheets, these, it's like fill in the blanks, and that's what I do. And I just keep going through it. And it's amazing, John. You put together an amazing program.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, it wasn't me doing that. It was not me. It was the 12 people that I worked with for a year that drug all of that out of me.
Well, thank God.
Seriously, it was in me. It was that unconscious competency of what I just did without thinking about it. It was the 64 muscles that were making me walk.
And so what is the ACT program? So now I'm interested. What is it? How do I sign up for it?
The ACT program, basically, it is available online. It's an online program. And I think you've got an affiliate link you can send out to everybody.
I actually put a link up on, what do you call it? The chat box. I put a link up there for people.
Yeah. So send them through your link. There's a sales page there. Most of the time when I sell it, it's usually from me speaking on a stage or at a conference or on a webinar or something like that. So generally, I'm really spoiled at this point, because usually when somebody hears me talk about it, they're already pre-sold. So they really just need the page to go buy it. So that being said, I never really created a super sales page because of that. Whenever I talk about it, people want it, they go and they buy it. So the link that you're giving them, it's got a little bit of details about it, but it nowhere close to encompassing what is all in the program.
Right.
It's like you've been through it. For me to tell you what all is in it, it'd take us a couple of days, right?
Okay, so let me just tell, and I'll tell you, I came up with a thing, and I got to talk to you about the big idea thing. If this is a big idea for me, I just said, you know what? I got your back. I got this CFO program. It's got all of the stuff that I'm going to do, and I could spend 2 days explaining it to you, or you could just accept that I got your back.
Yeah. That's when you're doing marketing, you have to be careful how deep you go down the rabbit hole, because ultimately they just want to know that it's going to get them what they want. They don't really want the details. They don't want the labor pains. They just want you to show them the baby.
Just deliver the baby, yeah.
Yeah, just where's the baby?
So in a nutshell, this is what I tell people, John. I said that you are you don't even know what you know yet. And to get access to you, forget about an hourly rate, because nobody could afford that. And I think you did that on purpose. But for whatever the initial fee is for the ACT program, you get the workbook, right? You get all of these tools, these online tools. You get, how many videos do you have from prior? It's just like an unlimited library of information and guidance.
Well, what I have every step of the ACT program, there's a specific video to it. All of those videos are fairly short. None of them are really long. I think the longest video I've got might be like 20 minutes. Most of them are 4 or 5 minutes.
You did have a couple that were like an hour, but they were like webinars that you just put up there.
Yeah, exactly. I've got training sessions and webinars that go for, hour, 90 minutes. But the actual ACT videos for going through the ACT process, none of them are very long.
No.
Now,
And that's what I was saying. It made it so easy.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the other thing that we do is once you get into the program, this is something that's a little bit different about me. I don't just sell a program and send you on your way like everyone else. You know, most everybody, you buy their program, you take it home, and you look around and you say, uh-oh, where'd everybody go? I'm on my own. I'm alone. And then you set that program up on the shelf and it becomes the shelf help, right?
Yeah.
Because you know you're not going to do it alone. So what I do is I say, how would you like to take me home with you? How successful would you be if you had me by your side every week to help you? And that's what I allow everyone that purchases any of my programs to do. I've got a weekly call, and it's turned into more of a mentorship. It's a training and mentorship program. And, at first I called it a support call, but it's support, but it's a lot of mentorship. There's a lot of people on there being mentored and there's a lot of head cases, for lack of a better word. People that have beliefs. They have these beliefs that they can't do it. And a lot of times it came from their childhood. And unless we break those and we show them, you really can do it. Everyone else is doing it here, and you're the same as everyone else. It's not like they're better than you. Nobody's any better than anyone else. We all have the same things at our disposal. It's just which ones do we choose to use.
Right. So the way I'm sorry, go ahead.
So there's a lot of that, and we do that every week. And basically, the way I want to structure the program is I don't want that to be a barrier to anyone for cost. So like you said, if somebody calls me direct and they want, like direct coaching, or they want me to consult inside of their business, I do that. It's $1,000 an hour. And like you said, I was shocked to see how many people actually pay me $1,000 an hour. I'm actually shocked.
Wow.
Everyone that has done it said it was the best thing they ever did in their life. But I realize, and I don't want that barrier. I don't want somebody to say, oh my God, I can't afford him. I don't deserve that. I can't afford to have the same thing that everyone else has. Well, this ongoing mentorship, how would you like to get access to that for under $30 a month? That's what it's all about. I make it $29.97 a month. Everybody gets access to me every week. You've been on those calls. Some of those calls are just outstanding, the information that people are getting.
Oh my God. I thought I was asking you like a general question today, and you laid out, by the time it was over, I got this whole plan laid out for marketing on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Seriously. And, I see people every week. We come on there just to, I don't even have questions most of the time, but I'm just listening to other people's questions.
Yeah.
And it's just like a whole education. And that's what I tell people. Get this kind of access is what I call it, John, is an irresistible offer.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's an irresistible offer, and that's what I'm trying to do that with my CFO package.
Yeah.
I don't want same thing. I don't want the price to be a barrier.
Yeah, so it becomes an incredible value too. And I figured out how to do it. Like I figured out how to do that, how to offer that low cost support that everyone needs without killing myself, giving up all my time. And I did it by doing it in a group. It's a group coaching call. And like you said, a lot of times you're on the call, you don't really know what to ask. So you're just listening to others, and you learn so much that way. And I tell everybody, I said, there's no question that you can't ask me on that call. Anything.
And you stayed on. I mean, I had to go off today. I don't know how, a lot of times I go off, Mike, because you just keep, I don't think you've ever said, oh no, I got to go.
No, there's been a few times, like if I've got
Okay.
another appointment or something, but typically, yeah, I'll stay on as long as it takes.
Yeah. So this was awesome, John. Listen, we got to do it more often. Maybe we could cover like specific things, like the big idea.
Yeah. Yeah. The big idea concept is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, another one we could cover is actually how to eliminate those objections. I've got that formula for eliminating any objection. Doesn't matter what it is. I can show you how to turn it into your favor.
Oh, that would be priceless. Okay. All right, Big John Limbocker. Any words of wisdom, parting challenges, anything?
Well, basically everything I've got's in the ACT program. So my words of wisdom would be to get into it.
Okay. And so how do people contact you? Just Internet Dominators?
It's like putting me in a bottle and take me home with you.
Literally. It's like,
but yeah, my website is internetdominators.com. If any of you are in business already and you have a website, I have a button on the homepage where you can get a free evaluation. It's a 15-minute consult. I can take a look at what you're doing and just kind of just off the cuff tell you what I would do to improve it.
yeah. All right, Big John. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Say hi to Barb for me. And,
all right, will do.
That's our story. Over and out. God bless. I will talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be interviewing my mom, John.
Oh, wow.
You might want to tune in. Oh, yeah. She taught me. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
You might get roughed up.
I'm prepared, but I do have the delete button. So, and broadcast. All right. Thank you, John. Good night,
okay. Thanks for having me.
all right.